$2,100. $2,100. In 2026, that is the most a full year of covered Part D prescription drugs can cost you, no matter how sick you get or how expensive your pills are. Once you hit that ceiling, you pay nothing more. Margaret didn't know that. She takes 3 prescriptions, one of them expensive, and 2 Januaries ago, she handed her card to the young man behind the counter and heard a monthly total that was more than her car payment. She paid it. Of course she paid it. She needed the pills. But she drove home doing math in her head, wondering how she'd get through to spring. That gut punch at the counter is the exact thing Medicare finally put a lid on. Hi, I'm your neighbor down the street, retired, on Medicare myself, and I've spent a few years now learning how this machine actually works so you don't have to. Today, in plain English, the new $2,000-ish cap on your Part D drug costs and a payment option that lets you spread what you owe across the whole year instead of getting hammered in January. By the end, you'll know one thing: whether that monthly plan is worth signing up for. No sales pitch. Let's start with the number, because it's the whole point. Thanks to a law called the Inflation Reduction Act, there is now an annual cap on what you pay out of pocket for covered Part D prescription drugs. It started at $2,000 in 2025, and because it's tied to inflation, it ticks up a little each year. For 2026, that cap is $2,100. That's the figure straight from Medicare.gov. $2,100 for the whole year. Now here's the part that changes everything. Once your out-of-pocket spending on covered Part D drugs reaches that $2,100, you're done. You move into what's called catastrophic coverage, and for the rest of that calendar year, you pay $0 for your covered Part D drugs. Nothing at the counter, not a copay, not coinsurance, $0. Margaret, with her expensive prescription, would hit that ceiling and then coast. Free, clear through to December. Let me walk you through the 3 stages, plainly, because your plan has them, and it helps to know where you are. First, the deductible stage. If your plan has a deductible, you pay the full cost of your drugs until you meet it. By law, no Part D plan's deductible can be more than $615 in 2026, and some plans have none at all. Second, the initial coverage stage. Here you generally pay 25% of the cost of your drugs, brand name and generic alike, until your out-of-pocket spending hits that $2,100. Then, third, catastrophic coverage kicks in, and you pay nothing more for the rest of the year. Now, some of you have been around long enough to remember a nasty little trap called the donut hole. The coverage gap, where, right in the middle of the year, your costs would suddenly balloon and you'd be left paying far more than you expected. Here's the quiet good news. That donut hole is effectively gone. The old coverage gap has been folded into these 3 clean stages. No more falling through the floor mid-year. There's a hard ceiling now, and it holds. So that's the cap, but I promised you a second thing, and this is the real decision I want to help you make. It's called the Medicare Prescription Payment Plan. Some folks call it M3P for short. Here's the situation it fixes. Even with a $2,100 cap, you could still get walloped in a single month. Picture someone whose big prescription comes due in January. They might owe hundreds, even $1,000+ all at once, right there at the pharmacy. The yearly total is capped, sure, but that January bill can still knock the wind out of you. The Medicare Prescription Payment Plan lets you spread those out-of-pocket costs across the calendar year instead of paying them in one lump at the counter. Here's how it works, plainly. You opt in. From then on, you don't pay the pharmacy directly for your covered drugs. Instead, your plan sends you a monthly bill and you pay them. The amount is capped and calculated by a formula, roughly what you'd have owed that month, plus any balance carried over, divided by the number of months left in the year. Every plan uses the same formula. And here's the promise from Medicare.gov. Across the whole year, you'll never pay more than you would have anyway, and never more than that $2,100 ceiling. Now let me be square with you, because this is where people get it wrong. This payment option does not save you money. It does not lower your drug costs 1 penny. It only changes the timing. It smooths a scary lump into steadier monthly pieces. And there's a catch worth knowing. Your monthly bill can change. Fill a new prescription later in the year, and that cost gets folded in with fewer months left to spread it over, so a later month's bill can jump. It's a cash flow tool, not a discount. So, who is this actually for? Straight from Medicare's own guidance, you're most likely to benefit if you have high drug costs early in the year, and you sign up early, ideally before September, so there are more months to spread the load across. If your drug costs are low or steady and affordable month to month, this probably isn't for you. You'd just be adding a bill to keep track of. And if money is genuinely tight, don't stop here. There are programs like Extra Help that actually lower your costs, and that's a better first stop. This monthly plan is about smoothing, not saving. So here's your one concrete action step. If you take an expensive drug, especially one that hits hard early in the year, call your drug plan or check Medicare.gov and ask about the Medicare Prescription Payment Plan. There's no cost to join. Ask them to run your numbers. What would your monthly bill look like versus paying it all at the pharmacy in January? Then you decide with real figures in front of you, not a guess. That's the move. If this helped clear even a little of the fog, go ahead and subscribe. It's how more neighbors find this channel. And here's the part with nothing to sell. You can get free, unbiased help from your state health insurance assistance program, your SHIP. They'll sit with you and walk through whether that monthly plan fits your situation at no cost. You can reach them and find plain answers by calling 1-800-MEDICARE or by visiting Medicare.gov. One last thing, and I always say it because I mean it. This is general information, not advice, and I'm not affiliated with Medicare, CMS, or Social Security. The rules and the dollar amounts change from year to year. That cap is indexed to rise. So always verify what applies to you at Medicare.gov or by calling 1-800-MEDICARE. And a small note, the voice you're hearing is an AI-generated voice used to keep these explainers clear and consistent. But every number here was checked against Medicare's own pages. Margaret, by the way, she signed up for the monthly plan, spread that January bill across the year, and hit her cap by summer. Free the rest of the way. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time.